Okay, we're in Martinsburg and we are heading towards Tussey Mountain. You can see Tussey Mountain up there on the right in front of us, and we are going to go look for some iron mines. Tussey Mountain from Riddlesburg out to Huntington had what was said to be over 200 underground mine shafts where they would tunnel into the side of the mountain to get iron ore, and they would put that iron ore on the Huntington Broadtop Railroad, and this iron ore would go to Riddlesburg, Rock Hill, Saxton, Everett, and it would feed some major iron furnaces up until the 1930s. So we're going to go find a site today called the Powel Iron Mines, and we'll go check it out. Okay, we're at the bottom of Saxton Mountain here. This is coming down Cove Mountain, and what we see along the road here is a big spoils pile, and this isn't natural. This is a big spoils pile indicating a mine was up there. So we're gonna go take a look at that right now. Okay, you see this big mound here? That's not natural. Something put that there, and the mines are probably right into this hillside here. We're gonna go find them real quick. Okay, we found our cut into the mine. This mine was operated by Mr. Powell, who owned the Powelton, also known as the Saxton Iron Furnace. The Saxton Iron Furnace ran until about 1930, and Mr. Powell had multiple mining areas on Tussey Mountain. And right here you can see the impression, and it's been pushed shut. You can see the tree grew up here, all the trees, but this would be the start of the mine. And it would go into the hillside up top. It would just go into the mountain. And here's the spoil pile. So this is where they brought out the no good rock, all the waste, and they would just dump it here. And you can see all the red clay and rock in here. And you can see they would bring it out here and just dump it off the side here. And that's Cove Mountain Road. And we're almost down to the bottom where it meets up with 26. So you can actually see this right along the road. You see how much spoils they brought out of this hill. Okay, so the spoil pile is always below, and they would just fill in this area with the spoils, and they would take the good iron ore rock out of that mine right there. Let's go up and take a look at that. Now you can see how this is the start of the mine, and it goes the whole way up to the top. So the entrance is probably up there. We're gonna go take a look. Look at that. You can see this cut here where they entered into the mine from down there. And as we go up there, we see the big hole. That'll be the entrance. You can see over the years they've tried to fill these in, but they erode over time. Right here's the mine. It's been pushed shut, but they would enter right into here. And judging by that spoil pile back there, this probably went, you know, up to 1,000 feet deep. There's a lot of material back in there, so. You know, if we would take all those leaves and take our shovel, we could probably open that up a little bit, but it's highly advised, or not advised. They would find a vein of iron ore here, and they would go into the mountain to get that iron ore, and they would bring it out on dinky carts. So there was probably a dinky track, and they would take the iron, put them on dinky carts, and it would go out, and they would load it down there and take it to the iron furnaces or put it on the Huntington Broadtop Railroad. Looks like there's a little sinkhole right here. And I see a big sinkhole here where looks like the ground settled in above the mine. Yep. That's a big one. See the settling? Isn't that crazy? And there's another one up here. So what's going on is the roof is collapsing as they, over the years. Yep, here's another one. Isn't that awesome? This one's a deep one. Don't want to walk down in there. These also could have been ventilation shafts, where they would open up the ceiling to give them some air. Here's another one up here. This one's a real big one. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty deep. See how big it is. And this is probably about 10 foot deep. This vein of iron could have went up, like I said, 1,000 feet, and they would exhaust the iron ore, and then they would leave and go somewhere else and find another vein of iron to mine. I mean, I'm sure some hunters see these on the game lands, but you got to be careful when you're walking in the woods here. But when you see these big holes in the side of a mountain, it's probably an old mine, and the history is incredible. At one point, the Juniata Iron region was right here in Blair, Bedford, Huntington County, Center County, Mifflin, Duquesne, and the Juniata region had the largest amount of iron in the world at the time, and they supplied 83 iron furnaces in the Juniata district. And this is some amazing history here. This iron on this mountain, on Tussey Mountain, was considered low grade, like 25 to 30% iron, which is very low grade, but they had such an abundant supply that it was very useful. The later iron furnaces at Rock Hill, Saxton, Everett, and Riddlesburg operated on this iron on Tussey Mountain up until 1930. And the iron furnaces that lasted that long were because of Tussey Mountain iron mines and the Huntington Broad Top Railroad. Blair County's iron furnaces, the last one that operated was Gageport, and it ran until 1896. So the mining on Tussey Mountain would extend into the 1930s. if you look around the mountain, you see a lot of mountain stone, like sandstone, Organister rock. And I was always amazed with how they found the iron on these mountains. And I was told a theory, which seems to be right. A lot of these mountains where the iron deposits were, they held some water, and water would trickle out of the mountainsides. And it'd be like a rust-colored water. And a lot of early prospectors would see this water and the rust in the water, and they would prospect there and find the iron. And that's why they would open up certain areas on the mountain. Because if you wonder, if there's a vein of iron here, you know, there's more iron in these mountains, but it's not everywhere. It's just in certain areas. And back then, it was a big industry to find this iron and use it. It was a very big part of our history. Another iron mine documented, the Powel mines on Tussey Mountain. This would operate for the Saxton Iron Furnace, one of 3 or 4 that he had. Actually, yeah, at least 3 or 4 mines that would supply the Powelton Saxton Iron Furnace in the village of Stonerstown, right outside of Saxton. Here's where the mine comes out to the entry point, and here's the big spoil pile one more time. So they would sort through the good iron and the waste, and they would dump the waste here. And driving up Cove Mountain from the bottom, I'd always look off to the side and I'd see this big pile, and I'm like, that's not natural. This is definitely a spoils pile. So today, with the leaves off the trees, I found this mine on the map and decided to come look for it. So here it is. One more documented mine around Tussey Mountain, right outside the Morrison's Cove. There's a nice little incline here. So they might have taken the iron right down this incline. I see it's like a nice grade down the hill. They probably had some kind of pulley system that would take the dinky carts down this roadway. Okay, we're at the bottom of Cove Mountain, and you can see the big spoil pile right here along the road, and then you can see this nice little incline coming down, and I found a bunch of iron ore rock where it probably just fell off the carts. So they probably came right down this grade and loaded, but I found a bunch of iron ore along the incline, and this was iron ore that they found in the mountain there. So very interesting. One more documented mine. It was a good time. Hope you enjoyed the video. One more look from the bottom. You can see how big that pile of spoils is from below the mine there. All right, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it interesting. Have a wonderful day.